Thank you for joining the We Don't Play podcast show today, Demario. How are you?
Man, I'm awesome, man. Happy to be here. Excited. Just all those things. Is a lot of things are moving right now, so it's good to take some time out to be able to reflect on everything. So I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I'm so happy you're here because one of the things that I see with businesses, especially your business, your industry, it's heavily based on finding the best person because everybody can do the same thing these days. Everybody can draw, everybody can
But
print. So, what makes you different? But I think what you're bringing to the community is beyond the print, it's a community. So, I'd love for people to know more about you and let them have an idea of what you've been doing with RBY, what it stands for, how did that even come up, and just give people some back context as well.
gotcha. So my name is Demario. I am the owner and operator. I'm not just an owner from the bleachers. I'm actually in the field with the people. I'm the owner, like I said, and operator of RBY Prints. RBY Prints is a full service printing shop, so we can handle one shirt up to thousands. We do a couple different processes. We do embroidery, we do DTG, we do silk screen, dye sublimation. We don't really get into vinyl too much on t-shirts. We more so do vinyl when we're vinyl wrapping vehicles and stuff like that. So we're just like an all-out branding house. If you're looking to get your brand out there, or you're looking to even start a brand or a restaurant or a business, anything that you're going to need for people to know where you are, the people know what you do, we can pretty much help with that. From logo design, website design, all the way up to printing all your merchandise, wrapping your vehicle, installing the signage in your place of business. It's like a one-stop shop for all things branding. How we got started, actually just started just as a side hustle, as you can say. Shout out to my guy, say side hustle mentor. But this started off as just a side hustle, man. I was doing three things at one time. I was teaching people about the stock market, I was traveling the world, and I was printing t-shirts. From traveling the world is really where the t-shirt thing happened. At the time, I had a travel group. It was called Upscale Getaway. And we dropped a shirt that just said passport valid on the front of it. And like in the middle of the night, my partner called me and was like, man, we need to switch the business from Upscale Getaway to passport valid. And he was just going crazy about it. So we switched it. On top of us switching the travel business from Upscale Getaway to passport valid, we also dropped a shirt that just said passport valid on the front of it. The shirt went crazy. Like, we were selling with no website. We were probably selling about 50 shirts a week when we first made the switch over. So I just kind of went from there. Like, it was like people were asking me, "Hey man, who prints your shirts?" And oh man, we do them in house. We were printing with silk screen at first, but then we started doing it with vinyl, so we can have different looks. So with the silk screen, we were just doing black, red, blue, green shirts with white ink on them. But when we got into the vinyl, we were able to really customize the shirts by the destination that someone is going to. So say you were going to Mexico, we can make you a white shirt with the red passport with the green valid that represents Mexico type of thing. So that's kind of where we kind of got our niche, where we were actually making, like, people were buying multiple shirts because they would go to Africa, they would go to these different locations, and they would want a shirt that represented that location as far as the flag colors within that destination. So from there, man, that's just really how it started. We started doing smaller little orders, from home, birthday shirts, memorial shirts, stuff like that. Nothing real big, maybe 25 shirts, 30 shirts at the most. But then it started to like take shape when we started dealing with people with communities. So we started dealing with individuals who were like building a community. We started dealing with other travel brands. And at the time, we had just bought a brand new house. So the front of my house was like, one side was all my machines, the other side was all the equipment. And I wasn't really having that for real. So I ended up getting this space where we are now. It was really, like I said, man, just somewhere like a man cave type of thing. I got 3 women in my house. So my wife, 2 daughters. So this was kind of just like a space where I could get away. I can kind of do my thing, print, turn the music up loud if I want to, hang out with the guys. And then COVID happened. And it was like, when COVID happened, I wasn't quite ready for the business to be a business. I was still in chill mode. I was still kind of, teaching people about the stock market. I was still kind of traveling around, doing little smaller orders. But then we started getting orders out of man, it was crazy. Like, I don't even know how people began to find us. But that's pretty much how it happened, man. And it was like we took on a few different phases in the business. First, we didn't know anything about silk screening. So any silk screen job, we used to lease it out to people. We would outsource it to someone. We would outsource our embroidery options. The only thing we really used to keep in-house was things to do for fulfillment, because we were dealing with these influencers. So basically, when someone hopped on their website or their funnel, or they had an event, someone would they wanted a large T-shirt or whatever, we would print the shirt, package it, and ship it out to the customer. That phase was really short-lived because we didn't have the software to support that high, the high volume that we were receiving. So we got away from the one-off demands and started doing bulk silkscreen demand. So where we would print 100 shirts, we would send you 50, we would keep 50. You would get out, do pop-up shops, do whatever it is that you would do, knowing that on the back end you had another 50. Let's say if somebody wanted to purchase online, or let's say you say you're in Houston, but you had a cousin in New York. They can actually get on your website, purchase it, get the same quality, get the same thing as they may have seen you have. So that kind of worked out pretty well for us. Then we moved into more of like clothing brands, where we were doing 3,000 and 4,000 shirts. As of today, we've been in business for 5 years, and the biggest order that we've had as of to date is 13,000 T-shirts. That came from a clothing brand. And so now where we're moving to, we're kind of moving more so away from the clothing brand space. We're moving more into commercial. We want to deal with a lot of the businesses, nonprofits, government agencies, things of that nature, to keep us a little bit more busy throughout the whole entire year. Just as with any business, it's high season, low season. For us, low season is the winter time. Anytime after like Black Friday all the way up until like maybe March, we're extremely slow. Now we're coming up with some different ideas and different things, working with my man to prevent that from happening this slow season.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man. And I didn't answer where the name came from. So RBY actually stands for Right By You. It's actually a double meaning. So before I started the printing business, I used to have a tax business. And our niche in our tax business was either we could come to you or you can come to us. Either way, we're right by you. So my specialty within the tax would be, let's say I was doing your taxes. I would come to your house to do your taxes. So we were coming with the tax game kind of like an insurance agency or insurance agent, where they would come out, knock on your door, do door-to-door sales type of thing. But once we pulled up there, we would tell you, hey, for every person that you can have at your house to do their taxes, we'll give you $25 off of it, like cash money right now. So sometimes we would pull up to a house. I used to have to bring up somebody with me because we would have 10 people taxes to do. Hey, 25 person, come on, pull up. So it started from there. It started from, the right by you, meaning we can come to you in addition to us doing right by your taxes. We were doing taxes at a time that a lot of scamming and all that stuff was going on in taxes. So we prided ourselves on not getting you the most money that you qualify for, not getting you the most money, if that makes sense. A lot of people would get you the most money, and it didn't matter if you qualified for the money or not. So we didn't really want to get into that. So the right by you came into where, like I said, we can come to you, you can come to us. In addition to that, we're going to do right by your taxes. We're not going to put no bogus stuff on your taxes. So when I started the printing business, it just actually made sense to change, to say, instead of RBY tax, RBY print. Either we can print it, either you can pick it up, or we can ship it to you, because we ship globally from right here at our location, or we're going to do right by your order, meaning you give us something, we're going to make sure it's right, we're going to make sure it's done on time, we're going to show professionalism. All of those types of things is what embodies RBY. And then in addition, RBY, red, blue, yellow, like the printing. So it's a couple different ways we could go about it, man.
I love that. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's like the meat and potatoes of where it came from. So as of right now, I mean, everything's going to be RBY with my business. Anything I do is pretty much going to, like, we're patenting or trademarking that RBY. So it's RBY travel, RBY whatever. Everything is going to be right by you because we're going to do right by you. So
I love that. That is community driven as well, because like it's like you talked about one off to businesses, to nonprofits, because now it's no longer about, oh, we do t-shirt. It's how can we impact communities with what we have as
yes,
a product.
yes,
So it changes. And I know sometimes when people are trying to print stuff, they want to print in bulk. They might not have enough to print, and they're like, oh, we just want to do 25. We don't know if we're going to handle that. Some businesses may have that issue sometimes. They might just want to test it out and say, okay, let's do first 5, because if they do 100, what happens if 80% of them are not good? And then they start, people have been burnt. I think I'll just speak for the people. So when you have that right by you, it also it builds trust. From what I hear, it builds confidence, and it also builds, like, I'm gonna let y'all have it because you guys got the right tools to make it happen without us having to worry about stickiness or this one is not heat pressed correctly. Things have happened in the past. So, and then another thing too is, I notice people don't know what machines people use when people order for prints, and that's a problem. So you coming in is a big one. And you talked about, silk and vinyl. Someone would be like, I don't know the difference. I just want my t-shirt. So how does someone know the difference between those two, and how can they distinguish to know which one to get?
So I'm very attentive to customers when they come in. I listen to words. So it depends on what you say. If you say, hey, like let's take you for an example. Let's say if you gave us a call and you said, hey, I'm having an event next Saturday and I need some t-shirts. I would say, okay, what are you doing with the t-shirts? Oh, I'm giving them out. Or let's say you say, I want to give them away for promo. When you say that, to me, that automatically means that you're not trying to spend a whole lot of money on giving out shirts for promo. So I'm not going to offer you our top of the line shirt. I'm going to offer you a lower shirt, maybe like a Gildan 500. That's like a $4, $3 shirt. We slap some ink on it. You might be looking at $5 total per shirt to give out to people. Let's say if you say, hey, man, I have on next Saturday, I'm doing an event. And I say, hey, okay, what are you doing with the shirts, man? I have a clothing brand. I want to sell them at the pop-up shop. To me, that means that you want quality. That means you want the nicest shirt. That means you want the best printing technique. And that means that you want it be folded, retail bagged. So when you get it, it's ready to be sold. Now, I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to say, hey, look, we can print, we can do this, we can package it for you, and then I'm going to let you scale me back. So I'm going to give you what you're looking for based on what you say. Then, of course, everything that you says, it is a cost that comes with that. There is a cost for us to package the shirt for you, so when you get it, it's retail ready. But it kind of goes in with the timing thing. Say you got 100 shirts. After getting the shirts, you're going to spend hours folding the shirts and putting them in the bag when you can just pay us to do that. We charge you $1 to fold and $1 for the bag. So you get your package, your box ready to be sold when you open the box. To me, that's kind of like priceless versus then taking your time and, depending on your situation, you might got a 5-year-old running around your house. Now you got to tend to them, or you might not have a whole lot of time. You might work, and then the next day you got to go to the event. So it's a lot of different things. We kind of try to listen to what the customer says and then kind of tailor our service, our offer to what the customer needs based on what they tell us. One thing I tell them that we don't use any entry-level printing. That would be like your vinyl, something like that. We don't use that. Like that, we leave that to the people that's using Cricuts, crafters, people, mom and pops. I ain't gonna say mom and pops because that makes it sound bad, but like more people who are literally just getting started. Most of us, when we print for ourselves, we get started at the same place. Meaning we all started with vinyl. We all got a heat press. We got a vinyl cutter. And then we ran into a customer that they don't want that type of quality because vinyl is very low quality. It depends on who's installed it. Now, I have some vinyl shirts that I made in my house from 2019 that I could still wear to the gym. I wouldn't wear that out as a shirt for an outfit type of thing. So we kind of coach people on that. Like, we don't use any type of low quality products. Everything that we use is high quality. With our silk screen, that shirt is going to last. The ink on the shirt is going to last longer than the shirt. About time that it gets to breaking down, probably not even going to want to wear the shirt anymore, type of thing. So that's kind of how we differentiate ourselves. Is we offer education before accepting your money. We don't want your money and then try to tell you what we can, what we can't do. We rather tell you that prior to you paying us, so you can make better informed decisions, whether it's with us or if it's with someone else. We just like to help educate people. So I think that is the number one thing. We're not going to accept money from someone and we don't feel comfortable in, like, especially, it just depends on what you say. Like, I don't want to get too deep in that, but we're going to make sure that it's a great fit before we accept your money. And a lot of times that's why people have been burnt, because a lot of businesses don't do that. They're in the business to make money, not to educate, which is kind of a little different from us. We're in the business of educating in order to make more money versus trying to make more money without the education part.
I love that. That should be the new way of doing business, to be honest. And it's always
Absolutely.
been, but I feel like people don't prioritize that, because if you go to a website and you don't know this person, you don't know this business, how are you going to trust them if you don't know what they value? But how you know what they value is by what you read. So I believe, like, if you're training them and they're reading, they're learning, oh, this is what it means to do printing, this is what it means to do that. They've given you resources without telling you, because you're finding them, available for search. So
Right.
now if somebody is going online, I'm sure they will type in screen printing near me. They won't really type vinyl unless they really know their stuff. But majority of people will just look for the next place near them. And then another thing too is getting the right quality versus these third-party platforms that we know of, like Printify, Printful. People always say, hey, I don't want to do any handling, I don't want to do any shipping, I'll just plug my website away. Those business owners that think like that, how can they integrate something like this if they want to build and stay away from products or services like that?
It's pretty much a twofold, man. One fold would be putting up money. That is the best way you're going to get the best price. I mean, and that's where the education comes in. It's like, okay, you might want 100 shirts, but really you should probably get 36 to build the demand. Now, we're going to tell you that. If you come in or you say, hey, man, I got an idea for a brand, I think it's going to go crazy, I'm going to ask you, how many have you sold already? You're going to say, I haven't sold anything. Okay, I don't think you should get 100 shirts. I think you might should start with 36, because one thing about it, I don't want any negative content, any negative comments or anything to be included in my business. So let's say if I sold you 100 shirts, knowing that you're new to the game, to selling clothes, you sold 20 of them, but then the other 80 sat in the corner in your room for the next year. I know we didn't do that, but it's a negative aspect around the shirt, which we're included in that. But had we had showed you 36 shirts, you might only had, you might have really sold all of them. You see what I'm saying? Because of the demand. But so that's more so how we kind of try to stay out of it. We try to service you for what you want, not what you need, more so than what you want. Now, if you push, no, I want 100 shirts, we're going to sell you 100 shirts. But I'm going to give you that prerequisite. Like, man, maybe with your first drop, maybe do 36 to build some momentum, that people see the quality, get some photos out there of people actually wearing the shirt. A lot of times people use mock-ups, which is okay, but there's nothing beats someone in the shirt saying how good the shirt feel, looking at it, taking a picture, a video, or something like that. So that's one way I would say do it. Now, on the flip side of using like a third party or even us for fulfillment, you're not going to make much money that way. And that's where the disconnect comes in. People feel like just because it's their idea, they should make the most money, but they're not doing zero of the work. So we have to print it, package it, ship it. The post office has to come get it. It's so many people that's in the way before you get paid that, I mean, if you make $5 off of the shirt, you should be pretty happy. But most people don't want to make $5. Most people want to make $50. Most people want to make $20. Like, so it's like, in order to do that, you have to put up money. You have to purchase that bulk amount to get the best price. So I think that's the biggest misconception in those two areas is, one, you get the best price, but you do have to come out of pocket, versus fulfillment, where you can just only pay for it when it's produced. I tell people, start out doing the fulfillment way. Let's say you have a lot of different ideas. You don't want to commit to one idea just yet. So just put them all out there. If a shirt starts to pick up sales, take that particular shirt off of the fulfillment marketplace, buy it in bulk, get the best price, and then either hire your little cousin or somebody to do the shipping, or hire us to do the shipping, however you want to do the shipping. But if you're selling 50, 30, 40, 50 shirts a week on fulfillment and you're only making $5, but if you purchase that in bulk, you can up your stuff to $15, $20 per shirt. It makes sense. But I wouldn't do that straight off. I would go fulfillment route until I get that one that's hitting, and then I would produce that in bulk.
Oh yeah, totally. Thank you so much for that. I would love to ask you this question too. What's the future of RBY? Like, where do you see RBY going? And because you talked about a lot of things, travel, this, community, so I'm like, what's happening?
So RBY, man, so RBY is, what I see in my mind is a mix of Lifetime Fitness and a college combined. So at RBY, we have youth programs in the summer that teaches them about website design, graphic design, printing, editing videos, business classes, economics, anything like that you want to learn about business, how to get yourself trademarked, how to register your business, tax stuff, anything about the creative space. You can learn at RBY. So I don't know if you've ever heard of a college called Full Sail. It's down in Orlando.
I actually went to Full Sail.
I think you told me that.
Yeah.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So Full Sail is for video, audio creatives. RBY University or RBY Institute would be for that that crafter, that creator, that printer. That it's like a mix of Full Sail, but we also include in the printing aspect. So let's say someone had a clothing brand they wanted to come out with, but they didn't know where to start. They could come to RBY and learn. They can learn about the graphics. They can learn about the garments. They can learn about the printing techniques. And then they can actually get into doing it if they wanted to learn that. If they wanted to learn silk screen, if they wanted to learn embroidery, if they wanted to learn DTG. We have all of those those classes available at RBY. It's not just a print shop anymore. It's more so like we're helping other individuals. So for instance, myself, when I was coming up in the print game, I would outsource any job that was over, let's say the minimum was 24. I didn't have any equipment at all. But let's say if I would have got a shirt order for 5,000 shirts, I would have turned that order down because I didn't know where to take 5,000 shirts to get them printed. But at RBY, we're going to run it as like a studio as well. So let's say you're printing in your house, in your garage, you come up on an order for 5,000 shirts, you could come to RBY, rent out our facility, or rent out a room, bring your staff. We have an engineer in there, just like you say at a recording studio. You bring all of your people in, our engineer runs the machine, but you guys actually do the order. Take the shirts off, put the shirts on, fold the shirts, do all that stuff. And you pay us by hour in order to rent our facility. One, that helps people who are, in their garage. Now, everybody's a big company. One thing in our business, in our industry, people are at different places. Some people are only working with vinyl. Some people are only working with silk screen. Some people are only doing embroidery. And the problem with that is we all have different expenses. So someone that's working in your house, they're going to be able to charge you less than I'm going to be able to charge you. I got employees, overhead, lights, gas, da-da-da-da-da. Like someone working in their house, they don't have those extra expenses. So to me, that's the problem with the industry. You can get 5 different quotes from 5 different places and they're all going to be different. They're not going to be the same. They could be more, they could be less, they could be, somebody might say, well, like my minimum is not 24, my minimum is 36. This other company might say, well, my minimum is 100 pieces. Like, so it's no standard within the industry outside of how the shirt looks when you're done. So someone might print this way, I might print this way, someone else might print another way, but when we're done, the customer is satisfied with the print on the shirt. That's the standard. But the way we want to change that is we want everyone to come up to a standard where no one's trying to undercut each other, because if you can do 5,000 shirts and you can come to RBY and get it done, why would you charge them a stupid low price? It doesn't make sense at that point, because now you're cutting yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like, versus them trying to win an order. And that's why we don't like to get involved in like those bidding wars and where people are at a race to the bottom. That's what I call it. Let's say you pick up the phone and call a school. In order for you to get the school away from the printing company that they've been dealing with for the last 5 years, if they're not messing up, you're going to have to offer them a lower price. Now, okay, they come to you with the lower price. Now, I picked the phone up a year later, call that same school. Now, they done went from this price, they got your price. Now I'm saying, okay, I can offer you this price. It's a race to the bottom. So where now 2-3 years goes by, this school was paying $5 a shirt. Now they're paying $2.50. Just because each printing company is trying to outbid each other with a race to the bottom. So I don't get involved in that. Like that's not what I'm doing this for. I'm not doing it to cut you out. There's enough room for everybody to make money, but we all have to kind of think the same. We all have to understand that we can't race to the bottom. That's hold on, bro. We got to cut this one off. Yeah, what's up, bro? I'm on this call.
My fault. No, emotion. All right.
Yeah, it's down there.
All right.
So that's the major thing, man. Like it's just more so understanding, and that's what we try to bring to the table.
No, I love that. I really love the fact that you're expanding it for people, and that's the future. Educate and then impact, because people want to impact and then educate. It's like, how do you go to school and graduate before you go to class? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, man. I want to ask you too about this new concept, about Tuesdays. We have this thing about, RBY Tuesdays, and we want to see how people can also globally understand the concept. So could you tell people a little bit more about it? Because I'm sure they're like, oh, what is that? I know it's new.
It's new, man. We're going to come out with it here soon. So RBY Tuesdays is just a way for us to, it's like, I look at it as like a community day. It's like all things happening in RBY on a Tuesday. What type of benefit do you get by tuning into us on a Tuesday? That's kind of what I see. So we talked about doing some type of partnership with the local taco place, to where on Tuesdays, people that come in that may say RBY Prints or something like that, they would get some type of discount. In addition to them adding us to their receipts, saying, hey, if you mention jalapenos, you get 10% off your next Prints job or something like that. So where we're kind of washing each other's hands. And then in addition to that, going forward is just getting people excited, to where people, anytime we want to release something, a press release, anything, that happens on Tuesdays. It's kind of like our day in the market, to where if you want to know what's going on with us, tap into us on Tuesday. We're going to let you know all the initiatives we got going on, what we done in the past week, or what was happened last Tuesday, recaps, all those types of things. It's like a news station on Tuesday for RBY, pretty much.
I love that. News station on Tuesday for RBY. That's dope. That's dope. I love that, man. Thank you so much for joining this podcast show and just giving us all this information. A lot of people have learned so much now, and I'm sure people want to know how can they, if they want their shirts printed, because I am definitely sure people print shirts, t-shirts, anytime. There's always something going on every week. This is an election year too. Things
Absolutely.
That everybody's printing something somewhere, somehow. So if you want to work with them and they want to have access to you, whether they're local, national, because some people may not even know where you are. They're like, can I drive to you? Can I fly to you? Can I ship to you? So how best do you work with clients if they want to do this at a large scale or even a small scale?
So the best thing to do is kind of fill out a quote form on our website. Our website is rbyprints.com. You just click get a quote. You click to get a quote. You put in all your details. If you have an image, add the image, sizes, all that good stuff. And then we would submit you a quote. Once we submitted the quote, everything looked good to you, you would make payment. One thing about our company is we like to say, treat us like Amazon, meaning pay us up front. And if anything is wrong, we'll make sure that the order is right, whether that's refund, whether that's reprinting, anything like that. We don't really like to get into the deposit thing because it's like now we're waiting to be paid. And life happens. Let's say you place an order with us for 1,000 shirts or 500 shirts. You paid us half the money, but then life happens. Now we're waiting for the other half of the money. But we've already done the work. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm reaching in my pocket to pay the employees, this and that. So we don't like to get involved in that. We like to say, pay us up front. You pay us up front. If anything is wrong, we fix it, no questions asked. We don't leave people hanging in bad places as far as within their printing. That's a big problem within our industry. People run off with people's money, all types of stuff. So like you said earlier, people have been burned. So they kind of feel like, well, I'm going to try to do the best to protect myself. But I also let them know that it's also, we have to do what's best to protect us as well. I direct people to Google reviews, and we don't really have an issue with that. Let me say that first. We don't have an issue with that. People usually understand why we require full payment up front. But once that, we'll send over a mock-up for your approval. You approve the mock-up, that's when we'll get started printing. We don't print without an approved mock-up. Once you approve the mock-up, we'll start printing, and we'll ship it to you, or we'll follow up with you, let you know you can pick it up. But we're located here in Lawrenceville, Georgia, which is like outskirts of Atlanta. And like I said, you can either follow us on Instagram at RBY Prints, and our website is on there, or you can hop right on the website, place your order, check out our Google reviews, all that good stuff.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man, for joining the We Don't Play podcast show. It's been great having you on the show. A lot of people now know where to go. And, We Don't Play show always comes through with the details, because we always want to make sure that you're straight, you're good. If you need help, you got it over here. So make sure you click the link in the description. Go to rbyprints.com. If you're listening to this even on Apple, go to the search bar and then go to the episode transcript and also tap on the link there. You'll find everything there. No questions asked. Like DeMario said, go get your print now, get a quote, because these guys are going to get you right. I see the value that they bring, and I definitely 100% believe that if you're able to do the same thing for your business, for your event, for your brand, you'll never go wrong. Because I know one of the big things a lot of people wonder, which we didn't even talk about, is laundry. When they wash them, can they keep them for a year? Does it fade off? But you're talking about quality. So if people are having it for years, you talked about 2019, then hey, this is good quality. And imagine now in 2024.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, man. We'd love to have you back soon. But until next time, God bless you and see you soon.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for the time, and keep going, brother.
Anytime.